In the world of landscape photography, what meets the eye as a final, polished image is often just the tip of the iceberg. For behind each shot lies a hidden narrative, an untold story of dedication and perseverance. Hundreds of kilometers trekked and hours of time vanish into the quiet pursuit of scouting that perfect location, only to be humbled by nature's elements, which are often indifferent to our aspirations. Yet we persist, repeating these rituals time and time again, driven by the hope of that one elusive moment. I've been passionate about incorporating wild and remote regions with photography for as long as I can remember. And with any long-time pursuit, there's an endless desire to reimagine and elevate my work within the field. So when the opportunity arose to visit Patagonia with Lume Cube lights, it felt like the perfect chance to merge the rugged and beautiful elements I seek within nature, while also introducing the lights as an additional creative layer to my landscape images. As I arrived in the mountains, world-renowned for their unforgiving conditions, my mission is clear: to capture an image showcasing the vastness and grandiosity of the Patagonia landscapes while incorporating the lights. The true test will be whether I can overcome Patagonia's relentless weather to achieve it. My journey began in Chile on the world-famous W Trek in Torres del Paine National Park. I spent 5 days experiencing the rugged beauty and striking variety of landscapes the region had to offer. From glacier ice fields and meadows full of wildflowers to the granite towers that are often used to represent the beauty and wilderness of Patagonia, I soaked in every last second. I first began experimenting creatively with the Tube Light Mini by setting up a self-timer on my tripod and manually adding interest to the scene by holding a light in hand. I followed this particular vision by carefully placing a light in the cracks of the rock face, creating a cascading stream of light across the scene. Through this process, I found the Tube Light Mini especially complementary to my workflow, given its versatility and packability in the field over multi-days. I also found the light's ease in function, special effects modes, and the ability to dial in specific exposures and color temperatures extremely helpful in low-light situations, which is the time frame in which the bulk of my landscape images are executed. By the time I crossed the Argentina border and was headed to El Chaltén, I could feel a new wave of excitement building. I was not only ready for a change in scenery, but I felt familiar with the lights and was ready to execute the final image. The extremes and volatility of weather finally caught up to me. I experienced everything from 120-kilometer winds, rain, snow, and heavy cloud coverage. I felt discouraged and began to rework my expectations, hearing from the locals that the peaks of Fitzroy and Serratore rarely make an appearance. Yet landscape photography requires such a great deal of scouting and preparation, so my only option, given the short time frame I had, was to go in hopes I'd be prepared for when a weather window presented itself. I didn't see the peaks once. As I waited for the next weather window, I began to obsess over one particular lake in the region. It was a little off the beaten path and not as heavily trafficked as some of the surrounding areas. And so after meticulous planning and gauging the weather, I set out for one more night of camp, leaving early morning in order to hike up to the lake before sunrise. In the realm of landscape photography, patience is key. Finally, the weather began to turn in my favor. Just as I arrived at the lake, the night began transitioning into blue hour, with a beautiful orange pre-alpine glow lighting the peaks of Fitzroy. Not another soul was in sight. Finally, the stillness and the solitude, along with the elements I'd been dreaming about, all began to align. I quickly set up my tripod and dialed in the settings on my camera before positioning myself in frame. Using the Tube Light Mini, I used a cooler setting as not to compete with the other colors within the scene, dialing in a Kelvin of 7500 and a brightness of 10%, capturing this one and final image. A human subject amidst a stunning landscape, backlit with Lume Cube lights. In truth, there's many factors involved in creating an image that tells a story. But in the outdoors, you can never predict or control what is going to happen, or if you'll come back with an image. But if you learn to put the experience ahead of everything else, I'm not sure you ever lose. Photography has taught me so much about the world. It has taught me to be patient, to go into nature without expectation, and to be present and intentional with each fleeting moment. But most importantly, I think photography has taught me to find the joy and the beauty in not only the destination, but the journey itself.